Hi everyone, thank you for taking the time to watch this video today. Today I'm going to spend a few minutes doing a peer review on Miss Camille Wardlaw and Miss Jean Perkins, as well as myself. The way I'm going to do it is kind of how I was trained to do it, and that is give the positive, give what you could work on, move on. Nice and simple. So I'll start with Camille. First off, great story, was hilarious, it was relatable. I know it might not have been hilarious for you at the time you were going through it, but looking back and the way you told it, I found myself laughing, especially having just gone through buying a car. The key things that I loved were your facial expressions and your gestures with your hands. It made it feel like you were in the room with me, and it kind of added to the hilarity of the story when you were like, really? When the guy showed up at your front door. Same thing with the hand gestures. The only thing I think would be great for you to work on is a little bit more consistent on the eye contact with the camera. It's tricky, especially with the camera. It's easier when it's live people, in my opinion. Just a thought. The other thing would be try to distance yourself from the camera so we can see the hands more. I saw you do this a couple of times with the gestures, and if I could see it more, my gosh, it would have made it just that much more funny. Last thing would be add in kind of like what's the moral of the story you told. So for example, it could be like, I don't know, be careful who you buy your car from. It makes the story that much more memorable, and it really helps people remember what you said. But otherwise, fantastic job. Miss Jean Perkins, another great story. Not quite as funny, but that's okay, because it was really that thought-provoking, like eye-opening story. And you hinged on that perfectly with the way you delivered it. Your eye contact and your facial expressions were right on point. Felt like you were talking to me. I found myself looking away for a second and realizing that I didn't even notice. Like, it just felt like you were talking to me. It was perfect. Your volume and the variance in your pitch talking was good too. It wasn't this monotone thing that can be hard to do sometimes. The only possible critiques I would have for you is try to exaggerate your hand gestures more. I saw you do one where you're talking about getting hit in the neck. I mean, make that action big. It draws more attention to it, and it just kind of makes it more memorable. Because that's what I remember is when you were talking about this, because you were more animated when you did it. And then, just like with Miss Camille, try to add in what's a good thing to take away from this. It could be, you know, hey, always go with your gut, you know, the Holy Spirit, thinking about that. It's a great way to bring it up, especially in like a church setting. I could totally see that. But hey, fantastic job also, both of you. And then for myself, which is always the hard one, I thought I'm usually pretty good about having volume and varying my tone when I'm talking. I thought this was another decent example of it. But my weak spots, and this is always the case when I talk to the camera, I thought I could have been a little bit more fluid with my speech. At times I would just stop and kind of be awkward for just a moment, which in itself isn't bad, but when it's abrupt like that, it can be more distracting than helpful. That's really all I have for me. It's difficult to dissect my own thing. I know I can always improve on things. But I look forward to everybody else's feedback, and I hope this was helpful for you, Camille and Jean. And let me know if there's anything else I can do to help. Thank you.